very good evening to you. This is First News. I'm Temba Obe. Today, parliamentary legislators and senators were sworn in for the next 5 years. The mood, particularly among the new members of the National Assembly, was upbeat outside the House of Parliament.
I'm expecting their fulfillment of what they said when they were campaigning previously. That's what we are looking forward to see. And for us to benefit, not for them all, for them to benefit alone, but together as a nation, so that we can have something for the generation of tomorrow, for us and tomorrow, to enjoy the fruit of a piece of cake for this country.
My expectation is from this new parliament is to fulfill their promises, what they promised the people when they were campaigning, and also to unite the people of Zimbabwe.
Immediately following the swearing in, MTCT legislators left the House, refusing to participate in the election of the Speaker, the President of the Senate, and their deputies. After a short break, Jacob Mdenda was elected Speaker, while his deputy is Mabel Chinomona, both of ZANU-PF. Edna Mazongwe was re-elected as President of the Senate, while her deputy is now Chenchi Mtengwende. Within 30 days of election as MPs in either house, any MP that holds public office must resign that post. This includes the public service, uniformed services, or any other service of the state, including statutory bodies and whether national, provincial, or local. Failure to do so will result in automatic and immediate forfeiture of his or her seat in Parliament. The balance of seats in the House has shifted dramatically since the last Parliament, when the two MDC parties held a narrow majority. With 197 seats, ZANU-PF has an outright two-thirds majority in the Assembly of 270 seats. And with 37 seats in the Senate, ZANU-PF needs the support of 17 other legislators to achieve a two-thirds majority of the 80-seat upper house. Analysts say the current composition of Parliament means ZANU-PF will dominate the legislature and the executive and will be able to amend and create laws as without reference to other parties.
Well, ZANU-PF's two-thirds majority means it can change the constitution, should it want to change the constitution. It also means that it can pass any piece of legislation with a simple majority, should it want to pass any new legislation in the parliament. But it also means basically it is in control of the entirety of government.
MTCT spokesperson Douglas Monzora was yesterday charged with theft by conversion, even though the complainant has requested the case, which is 14 years old, to be withdrawn. Mr. Monzora explained the background of the case to First TV and also expressed his views on why the case was brought now.
Yes, I was summoned to appear in court yesterday in the magistrate court. And I discovered when I got to court that I was being charged with an offense that is supposed to have taken place in 1999. And it relates to a business transaction that I did at my legal firm. The complainant in the case has already indicated that he's not interested in the prosecution and that he thinks it is a persecution of me, and he has already filed papers to say, I want to withdraw. But the Attorney General's office are refusing to withdraw. This is because they simply want to harass me. It is abnormal that a case can stay for 14 years and only be resurfaced today. It is unheard of.
Douglas, are you saying that you got a summons, it didn't say what you were requested to come to court for?
Well, the summons indicated that it was a theft, but it wasn't specific as to what it related to. And when I got to court that the first time, I got a charge sheet. And the charge sheet then told me the date and the place and the time, which date was 1999, which is 14 years ago.
And having such cases, have they got a statute of limitations?
Well, in terms of the law of Zimbabwe, one is entitled to approach the Constitutional Court to say that the case was and the delay is unreasonable. So, in terms of Section 56 of our Constitution, we have a right as accused persons to be tried within a reasonable time, and we are simply saying 14 years is unreasonable. But the most important thing is that I am denying any wrongdoing. They are in possession of facts that actually point to my innocence, and they've hidden those facts. Unfortunately, I got to know about the evidence that they are hiding. So the magistrate did ask why I was being treated like that, and there was no explanation coming from the prosecutor.
Douglas, why do you think these charges are being brought against you at this point in time?
Well, against me in particular because I'm the spokesman of the MDC. I am being harassed and embarrassed. They want to put pressure on me as a politician as well as a lawyer by trying to target my career. This is malicious, this is political, and this is, in my respectful view, very obscene.
Hundreds of students at the National University of Science and Technology in Bulawayo have been left milling around after authorities denied them access to classes, saying that the government has failed to pay their fees through the cadetship program. The government pays fees for students in the program as a loan to the students, which must be repaid after they finish their studies. The students explained their predicament to First TV, but did not want to be identified.
Right now, we're just stranded. The government hasn't paid our tuition fees as they promised through the cadetship. We opened schools yesterday and no progress is taking place. The schools wanted the full tuition and we're not allowed to register. As you can see, students are loitering around. Nothing is taking place. They are not even learning.
Watangomira panze maticha ati asupinda mabasa tongomira mari asadzauya satingori panze narongodzingwa.
As you can see panapa utangogara we are barred from getting into the campus. There is no lessons going on. Saka probably iri kunzi mafees dai akabhadharwa inonzi cadetship datakabhadharwa mafees negovernment 2 months ago, but I think by now the fees has not been paid. So I just seated maybe chatopedzera takutonzi kutodzokera kumba kunogara chaiko because mafees acho asati abhadhara.
First TV attempted to speak to college spokesperson Felix Moyo, who was not in his office, nor did he answer his phone. A lecturer who spoke on condition of anonymity said the government should pay the fees so that the students can resume their studies. While members of parliament were being sworn in Harare this morning, we now bring you a story of another aspiring parliamentarian. When Karamba Diaby arrived in what was East Germany from Senegal in 1985, he hardly spoke a word of German. 28 years later, he is running for German parliament. The country holds general elections on September the 22nd, and he could become Germany's first black MP.
Diaby, who was born in 1961, grew up as an orphan and was raised by his sister. Diaby's brother supported him when he began to study biology and geology in Dakar in 1983. 2 years later, he arrived in Halle in then East Germany to study chemistry, in which he holds a doctorate degree. Diaby became active in educational, social and migration work, and in 2001 he became a German citizen. In 2008, he joined the Social Democrats SPD party, which is currently the opposition in the German parliament. But it has not been easy to win support, in part because of his race, Diaby says.
The focus on my color of skin obviously bothers me because I would expect some normalcy and that people would speak to me as someone who is fighting to be elected to the Bundestag in order to represent this region in a dignified way. That's what I would have preferred, to be at the center of attention. But this doesn't always happen.
Diaby says he wants to help improve the lives of the people who live in his eastern German hometown of Halle.
We are in a region here where a lot of people go home with little money. When you look at the statistics, more than 20% go to work and earn less than $10 an hour. They don't have enough work and often have several jobs, and that's a problem which concerns a lot of people.
The German parliament is located in the capital, Berlin, but Diaby said he would devote a good part of his work to helping people back in Halle.
Halle is my home. My family is here, my children go to school here, and caring for one's constituency, to me, is one of the most important political jobs. If elected, the work in Berlin would be part of the work, but the work in the constituency would play a very large role.
The number of African immigrants in Germany in 2012 stood at 276,000, Federal Statistics Office data showed.
Migrants, many believed to be of Egyptian and Syrian origin, continued to be plucked from the sea off the coast of Sicily in the early hours of this morning. Some 93 men, women and children were rescued by the Italian Coast Guard and brought safely into shore at the Sicilian port of Syracuse. 180 migrants arrived over the last few days, with the number of Syrians in the cramped boats continuing to rise. Agencies are concerned that the risky sea crossing will start to be used by more and more Syrians to escape the violence in their country. The United Nations say there are now 2 million Syrian refugees in neighboring countries and further afield. In cricket, the Zimbabwean national team took to the field in their first test against Pakistan, even though team members have not been paid, despite a promise by Zimbabwe Cricket to transfer the money into their accounts by today. Zimbabwe won the toss and sent Pakistan into bat. There had been concerns about whether Zimbabwe's players would be able to put aside their off-field troubles and focus on the challenges of Test cricket. But the home side's bowlers began with an almost perfect first hour, sending Pakistan reeling with 27 for 3. The visitors regained their composure to a degree, and at close of play they were 249 for 9. The match continues tomorrow. And that ends tonight's First News. On behalf of the news team, I wish you an enjoyable evening with First TV, your nation, your station.